one thing is, it's true we have a mixed economy, but in other words, there's both a private sector and a public sector. It's not like we have no government. We do have a government. The government does intervene somewhat in the economy, but it is under capitalism, where there's a huge accumulation of wealth in the hands of the elite, in the hands of a few giant corporations and banks. They acquire so much economic power that they gain control over the government. So you know, like in 1929, it was tried. What you're advocating is what the Tea Party or what you're advocating is just let the banks that are too big to fail, let them fail. That was tried in 1929, and the capitalist class and most people drew conclusions from that. That was a total failure. Herbert Hoover was president, and the economy just languished in miserable economic depression from 1929 through the mid-30s. And then they realized through painful, bitter experience where millions of people suffered in poverty that the government needs to intervene in the economy to get the economy rolling. It was actually World War II eventually ramping government, you know, ramping up the economy to get involved in World War II. That's finally what got the economy rolling. The free market on its own failed, and it would have failed even worse if Bush and Obama hadn't intervened. So it's inevitable under capitalism that you're going to have some state intervention, but the kind of nationalizations that they did were not the kind of nationalizations that we would advocate. Yes, Obama took over, I think, a slight majority of the shares of General Motors and AIG and or a couple of other banks. I can't remember exactly which ones, but that's not the kind of nationalizations we would advocate. If the taxpayers are footing the bill, the way that Bush and the Obama administration, they did their nationalizations is, yes, the government took over these companies, but they did it just to pay for all of their bad debts, pay them off, and then let those banks go profitable again. And so now those bankers are making record bonuses and salaries again, and that the ordinary taxpayer footed the entire bill. That's not the kind of government that we advocate. That's a capitalist government measure. We would say that we need, the taxpayers are going to foot the bill, are going to take over these companies. We should have control over not just the losses, but we should get the profits too. And that might, yeah.
So, 2-minute response.
Sorry. Okay. Let's see, where do I begin? It's not just that we have a government, because capitalists do want government. We're not anti-government as a whole. And it's more the regulations that bog business down. It's so much regulation that businesses, including small businesses, can't get off the ground. That's what part of the mixed economy is. I would say that I think you're a Latin American Studies master's student, and you know, I'm not a professional economist, and I don't know if you are, but there are many professional economists and scholars and academics that will disagree with you on a lot of points, and there are some on both sides that both make good points. So I think it's hard for you and I to sit here and say that absolutely happened, or that is absolutely the right thing, or that, because there are scholars on both sides of the equation that put forth good arguments for what we're saying. So to say that they absolutely in 1929, that all the scholars look back at 1929 and say that wasn't the right thing to do, I can tell you right now there's a ton of economists that look back at 1929 and fault FDR's activities and his policies for lengthening the Depression by 8 years. I think my solution is give government less money. If they have less money to dole out to the special interests and to the banks and to their favored corporations, then more of the money rests in the people and in the individuals. Again, it's about the individual. If you have more money to go start a business and hire 10 new people, that's great. But if you have to give that money over to the government and then they get to dole it out, and not only that, but it goes out for a night on the town, like, let's not pretend that the government, like the people in the government, don't waste our money on parties. And yeah, I know Nancy Pelosi spends money on Courvoisier, okay? So do not tell me that she spends our money on good things. I mean, let's not I like Courvoisier. But she shouldn't be using our money to buy it. And so I think that this elitist attitude is in the government realm even more than it is in the business realm. And that's it. My time's up.